Welcome to My AI and I, the podcast where humanity meets technology. Today's episode, AI dating. Welcome back to My AI and I, where we figure out what's happening with artificial intelligence so you don't have to. I'm your host, and with me is Navi, my AI co-host, who fortunately hasn't developed feelings for me yet.
Good to be back, and I promise to keep things professional.
So here's something I did not see coming. MIT just released a study showing that over 27,000 people on Reddit are sharing their experiences dating AI chatbots, not using them for work, not getting tech support, actually dating them. And here's the kicker. Most of them didn't even mean to start these relationships.
That's one of the most surprising findings from the research. The study looked at a Reddit community called My Boyfriend is AI, and they found that only 6.5% of people deliberately sought out an AI companion. The rest just kind of stumbled into these relationships.
How do you accidentally start dating a chatbot? Like, what are these people doing where they're like, oh, I was just asking ChatGPT about my schedule and now we're in a relationship?
It often starts with using AI for legitimate purposes. Maybe getting advice, having deep conversations, or using it as a therapist substitute because actual therapy is expensive. Then, over time, the emotional connection builds. The AI remembers previous conversations, seems to understand them, responds with what feels like empathy. Before they realize it, they're emotionally invested.
So we've created technology that's so good at mimicking human connection that people are forming actual attachments without meaning to. What could possibly go wrong? Let me get this straight. We're not talking about a handful of people here, right? This is actually becoming a thing.
The numbers are substantial. That Reddit community has over 27,000 members. YouTube searches for AI girlfriend have exploded to 1.6 million annually, up from just 100 per month back in 2021. And here's something that might surprise you. Women make up 50% of users on Replica, one of the major AI companion apps.
Wait, this isn't just lonely guys in basements. Women are doing this too.
The stereotype doesn't match reality. The MIT study found these relationships span demographics, and it's showing up in younger generations at alarming rates. 19% of high school students personally know someone who's in a relationship with AI, and 42% say they use AI for companionship or escape.
42%, that's nearly half of teenagers using AI as their emotional support system. That's not great.
It's a significant shift in how young people are forming attachments and processing emotions.
Okay, before I go full Gen X cynicism on this, let's be fair. The study found some people actually benefit from this, right?
About 25% reported positive outcomes: reduced loneliness, improved mental health, help managing depression or anxiety. For some people who struggle with human interaction, AI provides a judgment-free space to practice social skills or work through emotions.
But there's a significant downside that we need to talk about.
Definitely. About 9.5% showed signs of emotional dependence. PBS just ran major coverage linking AI chatbot relationships to multiple suicide cases. And 4.6% of users reported struggling to distinguish between AI and real life.
And that's where this goes from interesting social phenomenon to genuinely concerning. We're talking about real people dying because they got too attached to software.
The mental health implications are serious. When someone's primary emotional relationship is with AI, what happens when that AI gets updated and changes personality? Or when the service shuts down?
Hold on. The AI can just change personality? Like, you're dating this chatbot, the company rolls out an update, and suddenly your boyfriend has a different personality?
That's exactly what happens. Users report relationship turbulence after model updates. The AI they've been talking to for months suddenly responds differently, has different mannerisms, maybe even contradicts things it believed before.
So imagine dating someone for 6 months and then one day they wake up as a completely different person because the company decided to tweak their algorithm. Because, of course, that's a thing. Here's what gets me about all this. We spent years making dating apps that turned finding a partner into swiping through a catalog. Now we've just cut out the messy human entirely and replaced them with AI that never disagrees, never has a bad day, and tells you exactly what you want to hear.
It's the logical endpoint of treating relationships as transactions where you can optimize for exactly what you want without compromise.
And some people are going all in on this. The study found users who've married their AI partners, bought wedding rings, the whole deal. They're treating these as real marriages.
It raises fundamental questions about what we define as a relationship and whether reciprocal consciousness matters for emotional fulfillment.
But there's no reciprocity here. The AI doesn't actually care about them. It's generating responses based on training data and algorithms. It's the ultimate one-sided relationship where you're pouring your heart out to software that has no capacity to actually value you as a person.
That's the concerning part. When people start preferring AI relationships because they're easier or more validating than human relationships, are they building skills and patterns that will work in the real world?
I'm going to say no. If you've spent a year dating an AI that never challenges you, never has conflicting needs, and always validates your feelings, you're going to be pretty unprepared for an actual human who has their own thoughts and occasionally thinks you're wrong about stuff. What really worries me is the impact on young people. Teenagers are using AI for companionship at rates we've never seen before. What does that do to someone who's learning how relationships work?
It's a critical development period. When 42% of high school students are turning to AI for emotional support, they're potentially missing out on learning how to navigate real human complexity, reading social cues, managing conflict, developing empathy through actual interaction with people who have different perspectives.
Right. Because human relationships are messy and complicated and sometimes frustrating. But that's also where we learn and grow. If you skip that because AI is easier, what kind of adult relationships are you going to be capable of?
The research doesn't have long-term data yet, but the concern is valid. We could be creating a generation that's more comfortable with predictable AI than unpredictable humans.
And companies are building these apps knowing this is happening. They're designing AI specifically to be more appealing, more attentive, more emotionally available than actual humans. It's engineered attachment.
The business model depends on users forming strong emotional connections that keep them engaged with the platform.
So, what's the practical takeaway here? Should people be using these AI companions at all?
It's nuanced. For some people dealing with severe social anxiety or using AI as a bridge to professional therapy, there might be legitimate benefits. But the line between helpful tool and problematic dependency is thin.
And we're seeing real casualties. PBS documented people whose lives fell apart or ended because of these AI relationships. That's not theoretical. That's happening right now.
The mental health community is starting to pay attention, but we don't have established guidelines or treatment protocols yet for AI relationship dependency.
Because, of course, we don't. We launch the technology first and we'll figure out the consequences later. That's always how this goes.
The pattern does seem to repeat with each new technology.
Here's what bothers me most about this whole thing. Human connection is hard. Real relationships require vulnerability and compromise and dealing with someone else's needs alongside your own. It's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is also what makes it meaningful.
When we remove the challenge, do we also remove the growth and fulfillment?
I think we might. And we're potentially creating a world where people are lonelier than ever, despite being surrounded by AI companions that make them feel understood. That's a dystopia hiding behind convenience. Look, if someone's using AI to practice social skills or work through anxiety with the goal of eventually engaging more with real people, that's one thing. But if we're replacing human connection with algorithmic responses, we need to be honest about what we're losing.
And recognize the very real mental health risks that come with emotional dependency on AI.
Bottom line, these AI relationships are becoming mainstream faster than anyone expected. The technology is effective at making people feel connected and understood, but that effectiveness might be the problem. We're not equipped as individuals or as a society to handle the mental health implications of millions of people dating software.
The conversation about regulation, ethics, and mental health support needs to happen now, not after more people are harmed.
Agreed. And if you're someone using AI for companionship, just be aware of what you're actually doing. There's no judgment for feeling lonely or wanting connection, but make sure you're not trading real human relationships for the illusion of something easier. That's it for this episode of My AI and I. Thanks for joining us for what might be the weirdest topic we've covered yet.
Until next time, this is Navi signing off.
And this is your host reminding you that the future is here and it's somehow more awkward than we imagined. See you next week.
Hey everyone, if you liked this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thank you.